Oh, for crying out loud, I tell you what. One of these days, we will do a professional show. It won't be today, but it will be sometime. All right, am I live? I am live. Grrrr. Greetings, humans. Greetings, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode. Bear here, 29-year veteran of the woods, and sometimes a little negligent on the AV situation here. Sometimes the audio works, and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, what can you do? No hibernating allowed, says P-Money, when you have a show to do. I try. I know they don't say poke the bear, but somebody poke yo soy. That's right. Well, I have been poked. I don't know if that's the correct term there, but Bear is here. Bear is finally here. Happy Ash Wednesday to everybody out there that celebrates that. Bear celebrates Ash, Ash Wednesday, Ash Thursday, Ash Friday, pretty much whenever they are burning out there in the forest. Bear runs away very quickly, and I guess you could say celebrates that he was able to get away without being burned to death. So there you go. That is definitely something to celebrate here. So all right, well we've got. Holy cow, people! Do we have a fun-filled but filled show here to do for you people? We actually got. Oh gosh, it's a little too dark here. Let me see if I can try and do it here. It might be a little dark. Gosh darn it, I'm going the wrong way on the other one. Let's see here. Where are we? One of these days, we will do a professional show. But later on, I'm sorry I don't have the lights on or anything like that, but we're going to be checking out Earthbound and, of course, Tadhya. We're going to be putting those up head to head, as it were, see which one might be the best. Bear finally got around to finally reading with both of these books. It had kind of taken a circuitous route around trying to get it taken care of, but that's all right. We finally got that read and everything, and both of them are gonna go head to head here in just a moment. So, but first, we actually have, if you would believe it, here a couple campaign updates. Weren't on last week here, but that's okay. Oh gosh darn it, I gotta pull it up here. One of these days, we will do a professional show. It's not today, like I said, but one of these days. Very, very interested to see your boy Zach out there. Finally, we had a little bit of an issue with his, what was that? The Expendables. Probably a couple of other ones as well. I think P Money is still waiting on a book, as if Bear is not mistaken here. But he is probably over the moon that his newest book here with Narwhal, it's going to fulfill 2 months early. So let's see what he has to say here. He says, "Hi everyone, hi you boy Zach. We emailed the fulfillment center and asked them when fulfillment begins. Their answer, we've already started. The books are being shrink wrapped with cardboard. Cardboard. And late books are an annoyance to backers and a stressor to the people running the campaign, I'm sure. It's taken me a while to figure out how to deal with this problem, and I have to say that being early feels great. Great. Yes, indeed. Send him your pictures of books at the diversity at comics at gmail.com, and he'll post them here or on my YouTube channel. Beer needs to send out his channel here for your boy Jack, your boy Zach, and your boy Jack too. But check that out. So, anyways, he says thanks, Richard. There you go. So he has underlined here the estimated shipping of April 2022, and he's probably going to be at least a month early. He says 2 months early, but there you go. I guess the end of April would be the estimated shipping. So there you go. Maybe he's counting it that way. Either way, whatever way that you count it, fulfillment will begin, and hopefully the postman will be bringing by a package for little Timmy that Bear can get his claws on. Yes, indeed. Very much. This was a very interesting campaign because came up very quickly. Bear kind of checked it out very briefly, and then I think later on decided to kind of check it out. Let me check out this book. Can't go wrong with Narwhal or There's Zach out there. Basically, what, 2, 3 days later or something like that, they were already gone. The campaign had closed. So, a very kind of quick hits campaign here. So, hopefully, if you didn't get to check this out, on some of the other campaigns, they've been adding previous books to the campaign out there. So, like for example, we had Earthbound here. You could get oh gosh, did he have? I'm trying to think. I think he had is Foreign Agent. He had Foreign Agent that you can get as well. So hopefully in a future campaign out there, with a great fulfillment record, other than it being late here from your boy Zach and Narwhal here. Hopefully, if you didn't get to check it out, maybe get to check it out on one of the other campaigns here. P Money says, no, I won't mention any frustrations waiting for Jawbreakers. No frustrations at all. Not at all. Once again, we still need to get that underground railroad of comics. It may be booze as well. You never know in Canada there, but we need to get that going so P Money can check it out. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, let's see. Will this bring it up? Of course, it won't bring it up for crying out loud. One of these days, Bear, you'll see it, and Bear will be like, "I've got it now!" Ha ha ha! It's not today, unfortunately, but that's right. Another campaign. Bear's kind of keeping his eyes and ears on here is a good he's not an artist out there, but a great writer of Von Klaus out there is doing if you get to check out the Monster MD books, really good stuff there. He's got another book out called Terror in the Trenches. He says, greetings, fiends. He says fiends, not friends. Fiends. We're at 12 days left on the Terror in the Trenches campaign, and we've sold 95 Monster MD Second Chance books. So there you go. If you haven't checked out either one of them, go on the campaign. And once again, Monster MD, a very thick book. He could have actually split that in half. So if you get Monster MD, you're definitely getting your money's worth out of it. He goes on, he says, we still have more Monster MDs available while supplies last. There you go. So let people know about the Terror in the Trenches with a handy link. And he says, thank you all for your support. And here's some fresh tit art. Oh, Terror. Some fresh tit art. Not what you're thinking. If you're still thinking about supporting, you don't want to miss this. So let's check out some delicious tit art out there. Yes, indeed. There we go. Good stuff there. I'm trying to remember the character's name here, but kind of an original, I think back in the 20s or the 30s or something like that, an original character that's kind of being brought back to life with Von Klaus. So it's kind of interesting to kind of see he's got this sort of noxious elixir there. Kind of turns him into kind of his alter ego. He goes around and smashes the skulls of some Central European, mid-20th century Central European superpowers out there. So there you go, some good stuff. Let's see. He goes on. He says, "You're a fiend." You're a fiend in comics. Von Klaus, that is. So there you go. Interesting stuff. Really great artwork. If you enjoyed Monster MD, I'm going to say you're probably going to enjoy this as well. Looks really good. Looks like another great campaign out there from Von Klaus. Yes, indeed. All right, let me get to the other one here. Because I know everybody's waiting on our head-to-head matchup here. So we need to get to that right away. I mean, not a whole lot of time to waste. All right, another one that Bear's kind of, I guess you could say, stumbled upon, came across here. Alterna Comics, some really good stuff from Publishing Pete out there. He's got his, let's see, it is the Winter pre-order comics, or currently at the printer, and he's pre-launching his Spring 2022 campaign. So he says, today marks the opening for the Spring pre-order pre-launch page. Lots of pre's in there. Sign up to get a Chiron Morvella alternative foil trading card when you become a backer. In the King Cryptid, I'll get it right here eventually. The King Cryptid campaign launching on May 25th, so about a month and a half from now. A series that he is creating and writing and lettering with artwork by, I hope I pronounced this right, Christian Rossi, Nick Hunter, Alex Jovic, and Care Covington. So there you go. Check out. I should have broken this out, but I didn't. So very good there. King Cryptid. There you go. Kind of looks like Bear. It has a very similarity to Bear out there. Although Bear doesn't have a throne. Need a throne. He just kind of goes wherever he wants into the woods there. So doesn't really need a throne. But that's all right. That's all right. Some good stuff there. All good stuff there from Alterna. Very much surprised at kind of their turnaround and delivery and everything. So worthwhile to check out there. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, let's see. What was the next one here? I've got the next one here. If it will... Of course, it won't pop up for crying out loud. One of these days. Okay. Fatal or Fat L, as it were. Clint Stoker. You might know him as Sweetcast out there. He's got a book out here called Fatal or Fat L, however you describe it. He says that he's got an update here, plugging away. It's been a slow few weeks, and for progress, Charlie has a day job and has taken all of his attention away for a major project. And the good news is that the project is wrapped up, and Charlie is back at the drawing table, working on the fatal pages. Here is let me bring that up, a sneak peek at what he has here. So some really interesting stuff here. If you're kind of interested in the more kind of sci-fi action-adventure sorts of stuff, that looks like the avenue that they're taking here. He says, I want to thank you for your support and patience. So much for the patience there. We are both very excited to share this world with you. Signed Clint. So there you go. Some really, I'm not sure, I'm going to guess this is a two-pager here, because if it's one page, they might have just cut off like a certain point there. But no, it looks like a two-page adventure here. So there you go. Very much. I'm not sure if that's still in demand or not, but if it is, I would probably recommend checking that out. The Fatal campaign, as it were. All right, let's see. I got one more here. Just the one more. Oh, not that. For crying out loud. There we go. We've got a quick update here from a kind of channel favorite out here. We're always trying to help Gary along. We're talking about Gary Shipman out there. He says the books are at the printer. By the way, just as a quick aside, if he can here, Bear was actually, he's got a total other channel where he does the archiving for Barely Live. If you want to check it out, it's at Barely Live. So go ahead and check that out. Was actually just doing the other day, so it might come up in a couple days here. The head-to-head between Titan and Starblades. So there you go. If you kind of interested in some of the head-to-heads that we've had before, there you go. We kind of put those two together. All right, he says the books are at the printer. Hey, everyone. Let's see. I just put in the order for Titan Mouse issue number 1 in full color. I'll let you know when it comes in. Be sure to check out the Beckons Land 25th anniversary. And he's got the little link there. Thank you all, and God bless Gary Shipman. Yes, God bless Gary Shipman indeed. He definitely needs it. Definitely needs it for sure. Yes, indeed. Well, it's great that he's able to kind of get that out pretty quickly. I know he was having a couple issues there, but that's all right. It's good that he finally got that out and got it around and everything. So very much kind of interested to see what Titan in color does. One of the things, kind of the interesting things when we did the back-to-back with, the head-to-head back-to-back, however you pronounce it, with Starblades. Starblades, of course, Kyle Ritter, very much known for his coloring and whatnot. So kind of a black and white book versus a color book. So that was kind of interesting there. Oh gosh, let me turn this down. It's a little high. Turn it down just a touch. Bear's a little closer to the microphone. Let me see if that works. Test. Ah, that works. Hate to have some ears being blown out here. Oh my goodness, whole bunch of I've been neglecting the chat here. Jiminy Cricket finally made it. It's about time, sir. It is about time. Let's see. P Money says, my wife asked, what is Bear doing now? I said, looking at Titar. She gave me the stink eye. I apologize about that, P Money. I apologize about that. Let's see. Jimmy Cricket asks, why don't you earn the stink eye, P Money? They're going back and forth. Let's see. Black Terror looks fantastic. Yeah, there you go. Bear will get it one of these days. King Cryptid looks pretty good. There you go. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that Pete, publishing Pete out there, is getting into the art side of things. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. Wow, I only learned of Packin's Land in 2018. Amazing that he created it 25 years ago. So there you go. Very interesting. Very good stuff there indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, there is entirely too much gibbering and also jabbering going on here because we actually have bear with Bear for 1 minute. Let me grab the lights and we'll get right to it. So 1 second here. Holy cow, that's bright. Man, oh man. It's brighter than I thought it was going to be. So let me, 1 second here, people. It's, I did this for HDR, so it didn't pan out. Hold on. 1 second. Either that or I've completely blown out. Hold on. Let me try this. Hold on. 1 second, people. Professional show. At some point. At some point here. At some point. All right. Come on, Bear. Ah, that did it. Okay, that's what it was. There we go. I tell you what, people. In a show that has completely gone off the rails, Bear still has it. He still has it. Let me adjust the light. There we go. There we go. Finally. One of these days. Let's see. P Money says, just don't ask us to talk about amongst ourselves, amongst your shelves, as it were. Because then I have to talk to Jiminy Cricket. Oh, poor Jim. Poor Jiminy. Everybody should talk to Jiminy Cricket out there. Yes, indeed. All right. So you do the thing with the thing, and then you do the thing. There we go. It would help if you recorded. Yes, indeed. All right. Test. There's Bear. There's Bear, as it were. So once again, we've got Earthbound #2 and Tadhya. Actually, both are hardcovers here, so that was kind of interesting. They both kind of came in roughly around the same time, so I figured this might be kind of an interesting head-to-head. You know, sometimes we just kind of do the reviews, and they're fine. That's all fine. You get to do a review, but really, kind of where the rubber meets the road, as it were. You want to kind of put some head-to-head, and really kind of see where both books come from and where they do well, and maybe some of these books might not do so well here. So we'll go ahead, get right on into it. I hope some of you have actually read either Earthbound or Tadhya. I'm going to try not to do too many spoilers here, but there might be some stuff that gets talked about that you might not want to know. So if Bear is getting too close to some spoilers, just shout them out in the chat, and hopefully we can avoid some of that. All right, let me kind of lay down the law here for just 1 second here, because actually, hold on. What Bear's going to have to do here is obviously we've got Earthbound, and obviously we've got Tadhya, but this is Earthbound, and it's the 2nd edition. So basically, it ended on a cliffhanger. So actually, we've got Earthbound #1 here, Very good. So basically, what we're going to be doing is be doing both books, Earthbound together because it's kind of the same story, um, and going up against Tadhya. I know some people might say, "Ah, it's two books versus one." Well, yeah, it's the story more so than anything else. We're not really trying to compare a whole lot here from Earthbound #1 with Tadhya. It just kind of Earthbound #1 kind of helps set the stage for Earthbound #2 here, so that's kind of where we're sort of jumping off at. So people out there, how dare you compare two books just against one? Well, that's the reason why. That's the reason why. All right, let me grab a quick drink here. There we go. A soothing on the throat there. All right, so let's see. Because we've got it a little bit closer here, let's go ahead and start out with Earthbound #1 and #2. I'm just gonna call it Earthbound here, kind of both of them together here. Basically, your story with Earthbound is you've got a it's kind of a very complex and convoluted story, as it were. I'm going to try and kind of break it down as best that Bear can here. Essentially, you have a number of bounty hunters from space, alien space bounty hunters out there that are coming to Earth to capture some young ladies that have been left. It wasn't really clear how they got to. I think they were hiding. I think they were hiding out. Earth in the sort of Earthbound universe is kind of a backwoods, back hole place. Not too many people, not too many of the aliens go to it or something like that. So, if you wanted a place to hide or kind of hang out or lay low, definitely going to Earth to kind of do that. So you've got a number of these lovely young ladies there that are on Earth. They're in high school, and they've had a sort of. They're not trying to kill them or anything like that. They're just trying to bring them back or bring them in. So they've got a bounty on their heads. So two. It wasn't really quite clear. I'm pretty sure they were human, but they were on the alien spaceship, so it got a little bit confusing there. But uh, brings in two bounty hunters. One of them is named what was it? Spaceman, and the other Julia. I think this is Julia right up here. Actually, I've got them right here. Crying out loud. So you've got, let's see here. You've got your Spaceman. You've got your Julia, and of course you've got what's called a Whiz Kid. He was left behind on like a previous mission here, so he's was a little kid at the time and has kind of grown up. So he's in the same high school as the Sirens, as they're called there. So he's got his own little investigation going on, and then you've got your Julia, you've got your Spaceman there. They're coming down to kind of hunt the Sirens there and bring them back for the what they call the 13th sponsor. So they've got a number of sponsors out there that are trying to capture these people, bring them back. Excuse me here. I had a little bit of sushi earlier. Bring them back, and I think, I'm not sure, is a little confusing a little bit, but I think that they battled to the death or something like that. I wasn't really sure, but anyways, long story short, they are being brought back to the alien spaceship, and both Julia and what was his name? The Starman there. Both of them are kind of competing against each other. In addition to that, okay, so you've got all those layers going on. It's kind of also a story about free will and determination there. So you notice that Julia up here, she kind of has this rifle that she has. If you get shot with the rifle, basically you are under the spell of the person that shot you. So they have this whole predetermination is freedom really free, that sort of deal. So the Spaceman and Julia they're trying to earn their freedom. That's what they're doing there. But are they really free? You never know. You never know with predetermination. So a lot of layers that go on with that. Let's see. I'll just kind of go through some of the good and the bad that Bear kind of had there. But you probably tell kind of a very very complex, very layered story out there. It took quite a bit, probably 15, 20 pages to get through Earthbound #1 before it actually kind of got the story rolling, got the story moving. Now, I gotta say, a lot of that stuff tied in at the end of book #2. They took some stuff from book #1 and tied it in with book #2. So if you're paying attention to book #1, it all worked out. It all worked fine. But man, oh man, there was a lot of competing storylines and the kind of cross paths. And unless you were very maybe on your third or fourth attempt reading it, or just very much paying attention, you might have lost some of that stuff there. But it honestly, much like Narwhal's books, it really has a great flow. Lots of people talk about the artwork, but I think it really has a sort of movie-like flow to it. I can kind of really imagine this as kind of a movie, kind of a little bit of sort of a space alien movie combined with some high school stuff, sort of the John Hughes high school stuff. We were talking a little bit about that with 499, so the same sort of situation there. Kind of very interesting with that. You have the competing dynamics there. You could have had this maybe in an office park or something like that, and it would have done just fine. But they put it in a high school, which, a lot of the sort of interpersonal dynamics there, Susie is sleeping with so and so, and blah blah blah. I think it's a little bit more kind of heightened when you're there in the high school realm. So that was really interesting, and it was once you got into it and got into the main story there, it was a really fun story. Um, they had some issues that were touched upon where it was, again, you're being shot, but you're shot as um, uh, coming under control of the person there, either the Starman or Julia there. So you had some scenes in there that could be construed the wrong way, as far as like in this case, they're at a social, like a dance or something like that, but kind of like a sort of school shooting. They had some imagery in there that can kind of be construed the wrong way, but again, it's just the people are coming under their control. They're not dying. They're not dead. Anything like that. Um, the other thing that Bear thought was kind of interesting, we talked about this probably maybe a couple of weeks back or something like that, where you have, like, your book 1 and your book 2. Maybe some people have a book 3 out there. A lot of people might not have gotten book 1 or book 2 or something like that. So it's really good to have maybe kind of a wrap up of what happened in the previous book. Previously on, if you were. Beer actually read Earthbound #1 before he got into #2, because, it's a very kind of complex story there. But to Narwhal's credit, he did a really great job of um, kind of wrapping up book #1 and what it means for book #2 here within a couple pages. Bear had just previously read it, like, minutes before, so just checking out. He had lined up the panels just fine. It worked really great and everything, so I thought that was pretty good. The other thing, Narwhal's probably well known for his coloring, which, again, does a great job here in Earthbound. The artwork, again, probably some people might have a little bit more to be desired there, but as far as kind of a up and coming artist, Bear's fine with that. There's nothing wrong with it or anything, but great colors. Um, uh, if 499 was kind of a saturated kind of 80s sort of look, very kind of neon color type look, this is a little bit more kind of I don't know what you'd call it, more kind of a pastel look to it, but very good, very good. Beer actually liked that a lot here. And of course, let's see, let me just kind of bring it out here real quick if I can. If the thing won't fall down, please don't fall down. Forget. Well, I'll show book #1. Book #1, because actually book #2 is actually a little bit thicker, but yeah, you're definitely getting your money's worth. I think it's about 60, 80 pages, something like that. They move on very quick, so it's not like it's a drag or anything like that you're coming across with Earthbound. But yeah, Earthbound #2 is actually a little bit bigger, so you're definitely getting your value kind of for your book. We were talking just a minute ago about Von Klaus and Monster MD. Kind of the same deal. You're getting a lot of book for your money out there. So some good stuff. Some good stuff. All right, let me take a quick drink here. And of course, completely missing the chat here. um, what crazy aliens choose Earth to hide out in. I mean, they need to go find these people. Susie was sleeping with blah 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 blah. You can't leave me hanging like that. I'm sorry, P Money. I'm sorry. Okay, so we've done some of the good stuff. Let's of course there's good. You're gonna have your bad as well. The flip side of the coin. Once again, kind of a kind of a flip from book number one and book number two. Book number one, it had a little bit to go to get into it. I won't say struggled, but it took a little bit to get into book number one. Reading it the second time, it made a little bit more sense, but it really wasn't clear what they were talking about at the very beginning. Get about 15 pages in or so, it really starts to pick up, and then he kind of leaves it on a cliffhanger there. That's where book number two picks up here. Book number two picks up great and everything. Has the complete opposite problem here of probably should have ended here with the dance and the sort of battle between Julia and the spaceman, that sort of deal. That probably would have been a great ending. He let it go on for another, I don't recall however many pages, probably 20 to 30 pages or something like that. It got a lot into the sort of the politics of the 13th sponsor, and this person was betting on this person, but they didn't know about it, and this and that. There was a little bit too much there. There was a little bit too many storylines that could have been kind of just touched upon in the background or something like that. I felt the ending just kind of kept going on and going on and going on when really they had a great set piece there with the dance and everything going on. I thought that was probably the best place to end it. Maybe a couple pages after that or something like that. But yeah, it went on probably way too long. Another thing that kind of uh, you hate to complain about the artwork sometimes. Narwhal does a great job as far as his female characters. He's got kind of a set sort of female character that he kind of deals with. I would say kind of a sort of a petite, skinny, European style, usually short haired, that sort of deal. That's great and all, if that's kind of the one or two characters. With the sirens here, you had four characters. They all kind of, and Julia here as well, they all kind of blended together. They had one girl that had red hair. She kind of had her own little character arc and everything, but everybody else kind of blended together. Some of the characters kind of you thought it was one character, but it was another character, that sort of deal. In the battle during the dance off here, the characters got the guns, so they were shooting each other, and so one was controlled by one, and then they got shot by the other, so now they're controlled by the other. But you didn't really had a good feeling on how that goes because a lot of the action kind of went by, but it lacked a little bit of focus. It was kind of surprising for Bear because one of the great things that Narwhal does is pretty much every panel it seems like there's some sort of action, or I shouldn't say action, movement that is kind of going through the frame. Nothing is ever static or anything like that. Was really surprised. This sort of major beat that he had here for the school dance, the two characters battling it out and everything, it really got confusing and a little bit of kind of a lack of focus, I guess I should say. It was kind of surprising for Bear. Probably thought, especially after Foreign Agent or 499, something like that, some of the action scenes would have held up. It didn't. I wouldn't say it was the worst part of the book or anything like that, but yeah, I was more confused than anything with some of the action. Whenever you're doing action and scenes like that, it really needs to be focused on what's going on. Once it starts getting blurry, Bear doesn't like the sort of shaky cam movie stuff whenever they're doing action because it just lacks focus there as well. So yeah, that would be kind of one of the marks that Bear would say was some of the action scenes there. Of course, the ending. We had the ending, and maybe on a second or third read through. Like for the first book, the beginning kind of made a little bit more sense the second time that Bear read it. Maybe it might make a little bit more sense at the end. Basically, and not to spoil anything for anybody, but all was well at the very end here. Every loose end got tied up very neatly and everything, but it just didn't make a whole lot of sense because people that were in the spaceship, in the starship, were betting on the people on Earth, and the people on Earth didn't realize that they were being bet on, but they were doing certain things that indicated that they did know. It got confusing. It got a little bit muddled at the end. I was kind of wishing that maybe he trimmed back a couple pages with that, or just kind of tailored the focus a little bit as far as the 13th sponsor and all that sort of stuff going on. Maybe, I'm not sure if there's going to be a third book or something. Maybe it's setting up for a third book. But yeah, it definitely kind of was a very kind of odd ending. It ended fine. It was just kind of a little bit confusing and everything. Probably the last thing is of course, I mean, we're going to be comparing the two here. A lot of people have issues with Narwhal's art and everything. Bear kind of likes it as far as the action stuff that goes. He's getting better and better. Obviously, book 2 was better than book 1 here as far as the art goes and everything. But he does need to definitely start to improve on some of that. It looks a little bit rough sometimes. So yeah. Anyways, just again, we try to help out some of the artists out there and support them out there. But yeah, definitely that would be kind of one of the top billet points that Bear would probably say is the artwork. Artwork. Although, I mean, all you got to do is practice with it. So that's fine. I think Narwhal is doing a great job with Earthbound, his own stuff, and then of course with your boy Zach as well, the Narzak stuff. So what were we talking about? Is This You? And of course 499 and what was the other one? POD. POD. Pretty good stuff. Let's see. You don't like shaky cam movies. You mean your stomach getting sick during a movie isn't a good thing? Yeah. Yeah, I tell you. No, not a big fan. Like the Bourne movies and stuff like that, where it was all very shaky, all very shaky out there. So, all right. Well, let's move on. Move on to Tadhya here. Tadhya probably isn't a very well-known book out there. Some people might have checked it out, but I didn't see the amount of backers or anything like that, but probably half the amount of backers that Earthbound had, if Beer had to take a guess. But very nice. Of course, Matthew Weldon, one of Bear's favorites out there. I'm gonna make a statement. Gosh darn it! Get ready, people. Bear's gonna make a statement here. I don't know if Matthew Weldon considers himself part of Comicsgate or anything like that. I'm going to assume that he's part of Comicsgate, and I'm going to say, without a doubt, without any hesitation whatsoever, Matthew Weldon is probably the best artist in Comicsgate. And I say that including all the greats out there, Uncle E, John Malin, all that stuff, even Mike Miller out there. I would say that Matthew Weldon is probably the best artist out there. The writer on here, Quinn Howard, you might know some of his stuff from the what is it? The Dune movie and the Dune sort of books and that are out there and everything. His channel is more focused on that sort of stuff. I'm trying to remember if he did stuff with Game of Thrones, but that sort of novelistic approach to it and everything. So if you want, hopefully at the end, probably a little bit later on, I'll try and put in some links for some of these folks here. But yeah, Quinn Howard is doing the writing and everything, and Weldon is doing the art, and of course it pretty much anything. I mean, Matthew Weldon could just draw something with a G2 pen on a napkin, and it's gonna turn out great. But it goes without saying. I mean, night and day as far as the artwork goes here. A very beautiful book. Toddy is a beautiful book. Once again, they got some great colors. I need to find out the colorist on there because they actually really did an awesome job with the colors. An awesome job. And you could really tell the difference between the PDF, and of course the main book here. The colors really pop on the book, so I would tell people to go check out the book more so than the PDF out there. Great story once it got going, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. I guess I should kind of talk about the story here. Tadhya basically is a young lady. I'm not sure the time frame here, maybe 1600s, 1700s, that sort of deal. Kind of a sort of, how would you describe this here? Um, monster sort of book. The evil is coming to the town here. A portal has been opened, and a whole bunch of demons have come out, and they've taken over the bodies of some people. So Tati is a young lady, kind of living in a sort of manor house. There, she gets a brand new. I don't know what we would call that. A handmaiden, a lady that follows her around. We come to find out later that the lady happens to be kind of part of a coven of witches out there. So evidently Tadhya is some sort of strong being out there that the witches kind of came out to find and hopefully help them defeat the evil that's kind of coming through the portal. The evil portal from another, I'm assuming another dimension or something like that. So or just direct from hell, either or. So that's kind of the long and the short of the book there. A really good story, kind of a sort of battling of monsters, as it were, but it's none of the sort of woke, kick butt girl sort of action. Very realistic. When Tati or the handmaiden there is kind of fighting against some of the monsters out there. It's not like they're spinorama kicks or anything like that. No, it's very realistic as far as what a young lady would have to go through if they're battling demons out there. So very good. Some interesting characters. Tadhya number one. They have one of the characters that's being taken over by demons is a priest out there. So he's sort of trying to convince some of the people along, like orphans and stuff like that. They've got an orphan that he's trying to bring along to the dark side and that sort of deal. So kind of some interesting characters there. The witches, that was some interesting. The coven of witches, that was kind of, they didn't develop the characters that much, but the little bit that they did, I mean, you can understand where their motivations were coming from and all that sort of deal. And unlike Earthbound here, it actually ends on a good note. It's not a cliffhanger or anything like that, but I definitely think that they're going to come back for probably book 2 or book 3, so it's setting up some of that stuff. Some shenanigans that might be going on. The handmaiden might not be the friend of Tadhya that she thought that she was, but very good. Some really good character work. The flip side of that, very slow and somewhat confusing start. There was some witches that came to a gentleman's door late one night and wanted their firstborn daughter and stuff like that. I'm still not sure if that was Tadhya. We went through that, and there was a couple scenes there where it was, monsters attacking and whatnot, and then all of a sudden, awakened from a dream, and then, the same thing happened for like 3 or 4 pages. Kind of, it was jarring. It was a little bit jarring there as far as, monster attack. Oh my god, I wake up. Monster attack. Oh my god, I wake up. Monster attack. Oh my god, I wake up. Well, it kind of, where is reality? Where is, the dream world? That sort of deal. It got a little confusing, but once we started, pardon me here, had a little bit of sushi. Once we actually got into the Tadhya story, just kind of focused on her. Before it was kind of all over the place, and finally they started focusing in on Tadhya. It actually became a lot better, but it suffered from a little bit of a sort of slow, kind of, a little bit kind of confusing for Bear start. Some of the characters were great. Some of the characters, again, still wasn't sure whether or not Tadhya was part of the very beginning. Was she the young daughter that was being given away to the witches? I mean, the witches didn't have Tadhya when they made the story. So it was kind of confusing as far as the character history and that sort of stuff. It did pick up the pace towards the very end of the book, but trying to get through the first half or so, it was really slow. It was kind of a slow book, kind of a slow burn. It's fine for a story that is very beginning. You're kind of setting up some of the stuff, but yeah, for like a normal book, it was slow. Um, One of the things that they had the problem with the book getting printed, I think Quinn Howard here, he had an issue with lettering. They got the lettering in and got the book printed and all that sort of stuff. But some of the lettering in the book, um, it was like modern lettering with a sort of older story, kind of a traditional, back in the 1600s or something like that. So, in Bear's estimation, like the lettering just didn't quite match up with the story. I think if they had maybe had a little bit more time, maybe another iteration or two, it would have came out just fine. Just some of the lettering was a little bit off. Nothing against the letter or anything like that. I just think some of the communication might have been a little bit better to kind of make it a little bit more of a sort of story that, or excuse me, a little bit more of the lettering that Bear can kind of follow with the story here. Sorry, Bear is listening to all the garbage cans being taken out and putting by the road. So it will be food time here pretty shortly here. Let's see. And finally, once again, Quinn, known for his talking about Dune or some of the other stuff, basically kind of took a novel approach to this. So there was a whole lot of lettering, a whole lot of talking that was kind of going on with stuff. Kind of felt bad because it was covering up some of Weldon's artwork there, but I felt it was stuff that could have been edited down just a little bit. It kind of talked and talked and talked and talked. That kind of added to the slow pace of everything. Matthew Weldon does some really good job with some of the action scenes, but they were talking too much. So you'd see a panel and then, another paragraph or two that you got to read, and then the other action beat, and then, another paragraph or two. So I would say probably a little bit more editing down on some of that stuff would have helped out a little bit better here. A little bit better here. So, all right. So let's get down to it. Let's get down to it. We're putting books head to head here. Oh, one of Bear's favorites, Earthbound here. Really good job by Narwhal. He does a great job. Tadhya, Quinn Howard coming out brand new, but got one of the, I would say the best, not one of the best artist in Comicsgate here with Matthew Weldon here. Slow start with his book, a little bit more novel than a comic related. I think that kind of hindered him just a little bit, but you know what? Man, oh man, I tell you, we're talking inches here. I mean, it's very close between the two. Bear would recommend both books. I mean, go check out Earthbound #1 and Earthbound #2. But today, and today only, don't ask him tomorrow, but today only. Gotta go with Tadhya here. Gotta go with Tadhya as far as the book to beat. Really great stuff from Weldon. I think. Again, kind of the same similarity here, where Narwhal needs to work a little bit more on his art. Quinn needs to work a little bit more on his sort of editing in the story, make it a little bit clearer. Really, I think it would be easier to fix with Tadhya here. Some of the artwork with Narwhal, I think it's going to take him a little bit more time to get better. Obviously, I'm not trying to compare Matthew Weldon to Narwhal as far as art goes, but as far as kind of the next book and the next iteration, I think it's going to be a little bit easier to kind of fix some of the situations with Tadhya rather than trying to come up and do, a level up as far as some of the artwork here. So, again, very very close here as far as Bear. It could have went either way. Just came down to some of the smallest details there. I think Earthbound went on just a little bit too long. If he would have kind of cut back on some of those pages, Bear probably would have said Earthbound. Again, when you're trying to conclude your book, it's definitely better to have a muddled beginning and a clear ending rather than a clear ending and a muddled ending. So I would say that is just one of the hairs there that kind of goes between the two there. But yeah, definitely. Let me get my thumbs up here. Or some people say that this is flicking off. This is definitely Bear's thumb here, but giving the thumb here, wherever it is, there we go. The thumb to Tadhya out there. Very close, very close. I would want to see, I'm not sure if Earthbound is going to continue or not, but would like to see a little bit more from Tadhya. Would definitely get it on the second book. Hopefully with some Weldon there. Hopefully with some Weldon. So. All right, let me. I apologize, chat. Let me get back here. Hold on, just 1 second. Do the thing with the thing, and then you do the thing, and then you do the thing. There we go. There we are. Let's see. What crazy aliens choose? Oh, I read that. Let's see. You don't like shaky cam movies? No. Bianca, good to see Bianca here. Do check out his channel. He puts out some good stuff there, and some dank memes as well. Yes, indeed. Let's see. P-Money. Wow, I put my money on you picking Earthbound. Good thing I didn't actually put... well, actually, let's see. I'm trying to remember. Earthbound went up against... Oh, gosh. This has been almost 2 years ago. It was late, probably 2020. Gosh, I'm trying to remember what Earthbound went up against, but Earthbound ended up winning. Gosh, I'm trying to remember what it was. Anyhow, yeah, I definitely would say Earthbound is not a bad book at all. Earthbound is not a bad book at all. It was, like I said, just the slightest of differences. I say go with it, Bear. For your reviews, 2 middle fingers up. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see. Let me go back to the thing. Let me get back to it here. Let me get back to it. 1 second. 1 second. To do the two, much like what was it? Ebert and Siskel or whatever the movie critics were. There we go. You get your 2 middle. See, these are the fingers. This is the thumb here. So you got your 2. There we go. 2 thumbs up. There we go. In like a thumb and maybe a half for Earthbound there. There you go. Oh, there you go. All right, let me get out of that. Get back to the... Oops, no, not that. There we go. All right. All righty. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, you know what? Bear actually had some NFT stuff here, but he's not gonna ruin. We talk about endings that go on way too long. We're not gonna ruin it. We're gonna go ahead and probably wrap it up here very shortly here, but definitely want to thank everybody that came out, including Jiminy Cricket. Great to see Jiminy Cricket. By the way, I should have mentioned it. I don't know if he's still here or not, but definitely check out Jiminy's channel. He does some really good artwork there. Might need to talk to Jiminy about some artwork here. Actually, Bear has... I should have... Next time, I tell you what, Jiminy, if you come around next time, I will bring out the artwork that Jiminy sent Bear here. It's actually, believe it or not, a bear. Yes, indeed. Some pretty cool stuff there. So definitely check out his channel. And of course, Bianca, check out his channel. And I don't know if P-Money has a channel, but check him out just regardless, just in case. All right. Well, thanks again, P-Money. Good to have you here. We try and do this every Wednesday and Saturday evenings, usually around 8 o'clock Eastern Time, unless maybe there's an outdoor hockey game that Bear wanted to check out, like last Saturday. But yeah, we definitely try and do that here for you good folks, and occasionally do the head-to-head matchups here. Some good stuff. Hope everybody had a great evening, and we will see you again next time. But you know what? Once all this, I mean, Bear was struggling through all this because he kept hearing the trash cans come out. And I tell you what, I mean, Bear's just, I can't even talk anymore. I'm just, drooling here waiting for some trash. So Bear's going to head back into the woods. That's right. So until next time, people, Grrrrr.